Hey everybody, it is Carrie and Lucas today. We are out doing some exploring, some off-roading, some fishing, hopefully some catching, and we're gonna stop and have some lunch at some point, and we're gonna check out a brand new cooking system. It's actually being released today. Well, when this video comes out, which will be June 5th, this thing is coming out from Stoke Voltaics. It is an electric cooking system. So we're gonna check it out, see how well it works, and see if that's a good fit for someone doing some day camping, some weekend camping, see what this thing is all about. So let's get on the trail, go have some fun, and then we're gonna fix some lunch. It's time to stop for lunch. So I've pulled out the Stoke Voltaics Nomad cooking system. We're gonna try it out. We've got it connected to a Blue Eddy AC70, and we're gonna see if cooking with electric is gonna be a thing. Definitely one of the advantages is when there's a wind, you don't have to worry about the propane getting blown out. So there's that. We've got it hooked up, we've got it powered on. Click the power on. I've got it set for 600 watts. So let's see, okay, it's already spiked up to about 715 watts. Looks like it's had a high peak there, and then it's gonna come down, well, 750, 760. So it's running pretty high right there on the 600 watt setting. So we're going to fry up some hot dogs in the skillet, put some chili in it, have ourselves some lunch. So let's see how things go. Now my first impressions are it's pretty slick, it's lightweight, breaks down pretty good. It's a modular system. You have the reactor on the bottom, a skillet, and a boiling pot with a lid, and there's a handle that attaches to it right here. So, well, let's talk about the power and performance. So for the main course, the Nomad plugs into any AC outlet, and you want at least a 500 watt power station. So you'll need a separate battery pack, or you'll have to run it off an inverter, which means you probably want to have the engine running, or you have to carry around a power station for your cooking needs. So that's not necessarily super convenient when you're backpacking or hiking, because you don't want to carry around a 20-pound power station. But for little trail runs, for overlanding, for van life, power shouldn't be much of an issue. We have plenty, and with the AC70, we've got ton. Now the Stoke Voltaics Nomad boasts temperature setting ranges from 200 watts to 1,000 watts. We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's get through kind of the specs and the features first before we talk about what it takes to actually use it. Once you lift the pan up, it's getting a little hot. Oh, yep, it's already getting a little toasty. Wow. If you lift the pot off, the system will shut down after 3 minutes. I'll show you the bottom of the pots here. They've got kind of an induction thing going on here. As soon as you put it on there, it starts up, and then when you take it off, it stops after a few minutes. So this should be good for searing steaks, hot dogs, hamburgers, soups, all kinds of things, depending on what you're planning on doing with it. So it's not going to be a multi-pot or multi-pan setup, because you only have one reactor with two things. If you want to boil some water for dehydrated meals or coffee, again, pretty good setup for that. Where I can see the Nomad working best is when your cooking system is maybe inside your vehicle, maybe inside your tent. You have inclement weather, or you have something, a van or something, or a trailer where you're cooking inside. It's going to work really well. For us, maybe we want to boil some coffee inside the tent or cook something because it's raining. That could be a good use of it because, again, it's electric. It's not going to require any propane, which would be bad to have running inside of our tent. So again, the van lifers, the overlanders, campers, anytime you're trying to save some weight and not have to carry around propane, could be a good option. But we're going to see how good it actually works. So since the pan is going ahead and heating up here, we're going to go ahead and get some dogs ready. Again, not trying to do any super fancy cooking out here on the trail. I'll grab my Gerber plate here and I'll just slice up some dogs. There we go. We be sizzling. Let's talk about power for a minute while we're doing some cooking here. Your typical 1,000 size power station like this has a capacity of about 768 watt hours. Now, if we factor in a 90% efficiency, that's 691 watt hours, means that on the full 1,000 watt power setting, you're going to get about 40 minutes of cooking. So again, I have it set on 600. It's currently pulling 500 watts. So we're going to see just how long we can cook. Can we cook a full meal with this thing? We'll see. Not a great meal, mind you. It's just chili and hot dogs. So if you have a 500 watt power station, you're going to have a lot less cooking time. So keep that in mind. The amount of power that you are using here, you got to factor in how much power you're going to have with you. So if you're going to try some different types of meals, you might want to experiment at home to see how long things take and how much power it's going to draw so that when you're out somewhere, you're not running out of power. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. Since it's all the way down to 420 watts, so we might get more juice out of it than we expected. If I was going to take this overlanding or camping, I'd want to make sure that I had some solar panels to keep my power station all put together, all charged up. So let's get back to the cooking and see how things are going. Well, I'm pretty glad that I only set it on the 200 watt setting because it's doing a fine job browning this up. Getting a little grill on the dogs here. So it does seem to cycle. I'm watching the power station over here and actually went to 0 for a little while. So the power must do some kind of cycling mechanism. Still set on 600 watts, doing just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up a little bit. We'll go to 800 watts. See what that does on the power station. Well, things are bubbling along quite nicely. I've seen the power spike up to about 850 watts. We got a nice boil going on here. It's been 5 minutes maybe. It's been running really nice. We are chewing down some power on the power station, that's for sure. We knew that was going to happen. No surprise there. Okay. It's getting a little hot. Excellent. So the big question is, Is this for you? It does require electricity, so you want a decent sized power pack. If that's a deal breaker, well, then it's not for you. You know, if you just think electricity is silly, it's not for you. If you want something like this, where you don't have to use propane, where you can use it inside your trailer, inside your tent, you know, somewhere where propane is really not an option, well, this is a valid solution. I'm very, very surprised with how fast it actually heated everything up. It went way quicker than I expected. We pulled about 20% of the power from the power station, so not horrible. I was expecting it to be worse. The fact that I was running it all the way up to 800 watts, it just didn't take that long to cook. So the overall impression of it is quite positive. I'm very, very happy with it. They did send this to me at no cost to do a review, and they're not paying me for anything. What I say is my own opinions here, but I'm happy with it. I know that this is not for everybody. So if you're gonna go in the comments and go, oh, that's so goofy, why would you want electric? Some people do. There's a market for this. It may not be everybody, that's okay. You do you. You may want to cook over a campfire, you might want to cook over propane, you might want to cook over electric. You're a little limited that there's only one reactor. You do have two, you have the pan and the pot, so you can't be doing elaborate meals. Anything that you can do in one pot, you can do with this thing, and it works extremely well. Will we continue to use it? Not all the time, but sometimes. There's going to be those times and places where this is a better option than what we have available, because maybe we want to cook inside of a canopy. We want to cook inside of our tent. We want to be cooking something inside the Jeep because of wind or rain or whatever. Then this is a good solution. It does take up some extra room, so we have to factor that in, as well as making sure that we have a big power station to make sure it gets powered. Now, like I said, for this meal, we use 20% of the power of the station. If I had 200 watt solar panels on here, I'd have this thing recharged in almost no time, you know, less than an hour. So that's it. Stoke Voltaics. It is launching June 5th, which should be the day that this video launches. Check them out at stokevoltaics.com. They have some other products as well, like a water kettle and something else over there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but check them out if this seems like a good solution for you. So from myself and Lucas, who's down here having his lunch right now, be safe out there. We'll see you on the trails with warm food. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.